Hi everyone, this is Kelly Giese. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! And today we're going to start with Autumn of Leaves. It's my September cards. There's a total of 4 of them. We're going to be using the stamp set, the dies, and we are also going to use on this first card, we're going to use the embossing folder. We're using the stripes. So let me show you the card we're going to do. I don't want to put that too far away because I need the stamp out of there shortly. So this is the card we're going to make right here. It's using the designer series paper, an embossed piece, both of the ribbons that come with the Autumn Suite, and then just a simple thing. And then this is the specialty paper that comes with the Harvest Suite also. And I have just done some die cuts with those, and then the inside looks like this. So we're going to get started. I'm going to just put this up over to the side, and you should have a packet that is labeled number 1. If you're in my card class, it's a number 1. Okay, this is our first card. Inside the envelope, you're going to find your base card, which is in Mossy Meadow, and you'll find an inside piece that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. You'll have designer series paper. We will be using the top side of it. You will have one piece that is embossed, a piece for a sentiment, a piece of copper ribbon, a piece of the linen ribbon, and a packet with leaves in them. So we're going to start by first just putting our inside in, because that's the quickest thing to do first. And I'm just going to use the seal. And I always make a Z. Don't ask me why, but I make a Z like a barn door. And that's how I put it in. Now this is going to be a landscape card, so we want to put this in here like this. And then I'm going to open up my packet of leaves. This is a pretty card. It really didn't take very long to make. There should be one green one copper clay, one peacock, and then you should have two of the specialty paper, one in the copper clay and one with the peacock. I am going to put the peacock on the inside of here, so this is my inside embellishment. And I'm going to grab my silicone mat here to work on, because then if I get adhesive on, it won't stick on the paper below. So it's being a little bit goofy here. And if you've got any of it that's sticking out, you can just roll it back under, and then you can decide if you want it up here or down here. I think this one I am going to put up in the upper quarter, because I just want that one to be a falling leaf this time. And now we're going to work on our front. Again, you can use the other side if you like. It would build up this way. I prefer the glitzier side, so we're going to go with that side. That's the side I think is the prettiest. This is a great pack of designer series paper that comes in the suite. It's 48 pieces of paper. The paper itself, as you'll see as we go through the cards for September, really is the star of the show. It really, really is. Again, this designer series paper is at 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to put that on as even as I can. I didn't tell you what the base was, but this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And then this piece is just going to lay on top here. What's nice is with this geometric design in here, you can get a straight line just by following the paper. So I like that part. That's what I think makes it a lot of fun. And before I put this down completely, I am going to run one piece of adhesive down the side. Now your ribbon is bigger than it needs to be. I originally cut it a little bit short, so I'm going to go approximately 1 inch below that. I gave you extra just so you could cut it to the length you wanted it. And I'm just going to cut that across. That is waist. And I'm going to adhere that to the bottom of this. And try to make it as even as I can. It's a little bit thicker than the other one was, but it's okay. I'm going to come back over this with a little bit of adhesive just to help it stick down. This is not popped up in any way. And I am going to come across here, and I need to nip off the threads. This ribbon likes to fray really easy, and we'll use that to our advantage in our fourth card, but for right now I really don't want it to look like it's shedding all over the place. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to line this up, and I'm just going to go across the bottom of that design right here and adhere it down. There we go. We're most of the way there. Then we are going to take 3 of our leaves, and I'm going to adhere down this one, and this one in some order like this. And again, I'll pull in my silicone mat for that, because this makes it just easier if I get the adhesive a little bit farther than it needs to be. And I am going to try to be very, very precise on how I put these on. So I want them to be sort of straight. So I'm going to pick a spot on here. So you can see this stripe is right here. It does weave a little bit there, but I'm going to try to go right in the middle of that. And I'm going to go and set this one down here. And then my middle one I will do last, and now I'm going to do this one again, putting adhesive on. If you have adhesive sheets, you can certainly use those before you cut out to put on the back of your cardstock, and you should be good. Again, I'm just trying to line it up in there so it's approximately the same height and inside about the same. I eyeball a lot of things, so this shouldn't be a surprise. Let me get a little bit more adhesive on here. Really wanted to stick, and you can see how it wanted to go on the other side. I just fold it over onto itself, and now I'm going to put it in the middle, hopefully lining this up so it's pretty much the same. It looks like it's pretty evenly spaced, and then I'm just going to press it down. Now these two are going to get some dimensionals put on them. So let me pull down the dimensionals. And I can't believe I didn't pull down some that were full. Well, okay. Well, let me get, what we'll do is we will use some of the dimensionals from that I used up, and I'm just going to cut them and use them on here. I don't really waste any of my dimensionals. By the next video, I'll get out another sheet. But these are readily available, and instead of listening to me scamper around my room getting stuff out, we will do it this way. It's always good to show that you're very human when you're doing these things. I think I'm more human than most. I make lots of mistakes. It's okay. I don't mind the mistakes. It keeps me humble. So I'm going to put dimensionals on these. I'm just going to go up along the side on one, and on the other side on the other. Oops. Making sure it's not sticking out. You want to just make sure that your leaf or the dimensional part is not sticking out over and hanging out somewhere. I could put a small one right at the top, seeing how I have done the others. So I'll just put a small one up there. Normally I would just use 3 of the bigger ones, in all honesty. That's how I would roll on this. but I will put this first one on. And I'm going to put it over here. Again, trying to like overlapping, and it's okay. You can, if you want, to try and tuck it under, but I'm just going to let them be on top. So here's one. Let me get the other one put down. Oh, well, that one's a little bit big. Let's see if I got a smaller one somewhere. I've got a smaller one. We'll take the smaller one here. That's pretty good. And then I can take one of the little ones and put it up by the tip. There we go. And then we'll put this one on our card. The last thing we're going to do is stamp. I know this is a stamping thing, and we're doing that last. But I like assembling, and everything else that has to be stamped is kind of, you know, your sentiment and the end item. So this can sit like this for now. And we can put my dimensional business to one side. And now we're going to stamp on here. Now this is a polymer stamp. So because it's a polymer stamp, what I always do is put something underneath it. And we're going to use with a grateful heart for this one. And here is my thing. I just set it on there. I'm going to bring in, and you guys have seen my messy pad before. I just stamp on the same thing and stamp off on the same thing all the time. I have 2 of these. It's like I'll never have another piece of paper sometimes. I just try to use it until I just truly can't use it anymore. And we are going to stamp this on here. Just light taps. This is a pretty juicy thing. And you can see I was pretty sloppy there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be fairly straight with it. Straight is good. Remember, you have 2 sides of paper. And it's really not a very big sentiment that's going to go on the front. It's roughly like 2 1/4 inches, about 2.5 inches, so right about there. And I'm literally just going to snip it. There we go. Snip. Snip is done. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to close this before I wear it, because I like to wear my inks. Oh, I forgot the other thing we were going to stamp. Let me open this back up. We are going to stamp our envelope. And I used on the original, I used the big maple leaf because this all had maple leaves on it. So we'll get out the maple leaf again. And let's see if it fits on here. It just fits on this one. I think we'll be pretty good. It's the envelope we're stamping with this. So I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to grab my pretty peacock again. Now, you can tell that I stamped off, and we're going to do that again. Let me close this one. I opened up the wrong one. So I'm going to stamp off again. And this is for my envelope. So this is what they call a distinctive, see how juicy that is? That's really juicy. I mean, it's like, woo, very juicy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp way over here and get some of that juiciness off. And then I'm going to stamp on my envelope. Okay. I don't really want it so dark. But I'm going to do, I do a little bit on the back also, so I'll juice it up again. And I'm going to stamp over here. This is dry where I've got this right now. It's wet over here. And then I am going to stamp on here. And it just, you know, see it's full, but it's not completely full. I like that stamp off effect for my envelope. I think we are done stamping. At this point, we will finish assembling. Let me get that out of the way before I wear it. And the last thing we have to do before we finish our card and put dimensionals on this is we need to tie this in a half knot. This is going to go underneath our sentiment here. So you can take a glue dot, which I'm going to take a glue dot right here, and I'm just going to put it on here, and then I'm going to put this on top of it like that. Okay, and it's okay if it's too long, we'll trim it once it's on the card. And I think it needs to be centered a little bit different, so I'm going to lift it and I'm going to recenter it. I lifted and recentered. They're still good. Okay, and then let's put some dimensionals on here. Again, I'm using the dimensionals that were the leftover after you take everything off of the card. And we're going to put this on our card here. And I'm going to slide it right up so it's just centered between those three middle ones, like that. You can still see a little bit of the ribbon there. And then I'm just going to come in and I'm going to trim this. And there we have it. Pretty much the same card, just slightly different. Just because I had two of the turquoise ones on the top, but I like it a little bit better with that being there. You can put them in any order you want. It's perfectly fine. And again, here's our envelope, and here's our envelope from before, stamped off and stamped off. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the assembly of card number 1. We are going to call this the maple leaf card. That's what we're going to call it, the maple leaf card. Thank you again, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.